Cancers and squeezers, this is internet personality Vangelus, and I'm going to start looking at the individually released Titanmasters of Titan's Return by diving right into my most anticipated little fella from Wave 1, Crashbash. What a lovely name. It's a shame that it's a stand-in for squeeze play, as it's so violent and clunky in a particularly endearing way. I wish it belonged to a new character. Crashbash has a somewhat ripply and bestial sculpt, though much of that is lost in the specifically detailed drowning gray of his torso plastic color. There is a welcome dash of silver to bring out his face within the helmet piece, and the color layout is a decent budget crunch compromise, though it now has barely anything in common with the original Headmaster other than the use of purple. His head mode takes the original squeeze play cranium and runs it through, get ready for that word again, a sort of bestial curve filter to make everything look more violent. The silver face and red eyes finish off the paintwork with all the core minimums achieved, and Crashbash's arms become a pair of nicely G1 homaging micro horns on either side of the helmet. Crashbash rides into battle on the back of a thing best described as a grumpy purple chicken wyvern. The neck and eyes are picked out with paint, and the legs and wings give themselves to the devouring hue of the gray plastic so that the rest can exist in a happy purple shade. There's also a tail, but the less you look at it, the better. Except for when you plug Crashbash into his foot-pegged divot so he can pilot the thing. Articulation-wise, the tail can kinda wag up and down, the legs and wings are on fairly limited ball socket connections, and the neck can move up and down. The pair can also combine, showing the most clever Titanmaster integration of all of Waves 1 and 2, as Crashbash himself forms the arms and lower jaw of their Gestalt tiny T-Rex form. And oh my god, it is the most adorable and complete-looking little thing! Matching purple plastics make the head look seamless, topped off with the sculpted teeth along the sides of Crashbash's robot legs. The color layout is even alright, with the only sadness being those solid gray legs that carry over from the grumpy purple chicken wyvern. Speaking of which, if you notice that the grumpy purple chicken wyvern's tail was a jawless upside-down T-Rex head, the T-Rex's tail is an upside-down grumpy purple chicken wyvern head. Thankfully, it looks much nicer this time around, because it's smaller. Crashbashosaurus Rex has got the same ball socket hips as before, a wagging neck tail, highly limited use of Crashbash's robot mode shoulders, and an opening mouth if you untab the jaw from the top half of the head and make things a little less stable. There are a pair of dedicated slots to lock the legs in place for weapon mode, and that's all I got, really. This is a small T-Rex with a handle on its back. There are sculpted barrels on the feet, and the tail folded away to reveal an intimidating rectangular anal cannon, and at times, it looks like a bulbous Beast Wars weapon, more so than a dinosaur on a stick, usually when you look at it from the front and slightly to the side. I don't know, I'm always torn on how I feel about this part. It looks alright with Crashbash removed as well. Alright, but also empty, as though it's waiting for an ammo case made out of cheetah intestines to be inserted. Crashbash is a great representation of what the individual Titanmasters have to offer. A cool little headmaster with paint in the bare minimum right places, a nicely rideable partner vehicle, a clever combined alternate form, and a survivable weapon mode for larger transformers. Crashbash gets at least a passing grade on each one of those critical points, and is one of my favorite early experiences in the line by far. It's just a shame that he also represents the saddest part of Titan's Returns' Titanmasters when viewed on their own, that being a massive lack of paint. It's understandable given the price point, but the sculpt is so detailed, I can't wait to see what customizers do when they unload some paint power on these little guys. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and I'm not going to apologize for the lack of cancer gags in this script. You can do better. Apply yourself. Engage in some dank, sweaty squeeze play.